Visakhi Lakh Lakh Vadya. Fine. So it's all the wishes to all of you for Vaishakhi. Let there be a lot of prosperity. These are tough times. And I believe with our intent and actions, we'll be able to secure the best in future. Yeah, now what we'll be doing, I'm sure you're seeing my screen as well. I'm sharing the screen for you. We'll be examining now on something about the online dispute resolution. These are times when more than actual meetings, virtual meetings become the norm when there is a social distancing, which is compulsion. So how do we enliven ourselves through online dispute resolution? What is its potential? What are all the things which are possible for us to be doing is what we'll be seeing. So first of all, let's just know how did ODR get any popularity? It all started with two important companies. One was eBay, where people could buy and sell in the market, the e-market. And there was a payment portal, PayPal, which was used for people to make the payments. And it was essential for people to have some kind of a mechanism to resolve the disputes. And therefore, PayPal it was that started to enable parties to communicate directly, find out what the grievances were, and secure to themselves what was appropriate and what was possible for them to get the grievances redressed, how it was possible to redress the grievances. So the first instance, the buyer and seller will themselves engage in a dialogue, or what we understand now as what we say as negotiation, and see if they can solve it themselves. If there is a solution which the parties were able to generate to themselves, there were no holes placed on their accounts, or the amounts which was already paid, the amounts which were paid, the product which was dispatched, and whatever there was a dispute about, either about payment or about the quality of the product, everything will stand still. And if they have secured their own solutions, then it'll just be resolved in terms of that solution. If they can't come to an agreement, the resolution portal will step in. And it'll help the parties resolve. It's kind of a nudge of what we see in our systems of permanent local adalats, where you understand that some kind of pressure can be given, some suggestions can be given, or what we understand in Arbitration and Conciliation Act, the conciliation, where somebody can give suggestion, unlike mediation where it is absolutely non-interventionist. In that sense, you have slight proactive suggestions coming. And that was how it will be. The resolution portal will step in and help the parties resolve. Supposing they are not able to resolve, the same way as what we have under the Legal Services Authority Act, they can escalate it to claim, and the same tribunal will decide, will give a judgment. The same way, a resolution expert will be there, he'll make a ruling. And how these things operate, and they set a time about 45 days. Any dispute gets resolved in 45 days. And in eBay, they say it's even lesser period, about 15 days, they say. Some more information about what you can see from there, I'll give you this. At the end of it, probably Sapan will be able to share the entire conversations of what are taking place, and even this what I'm now giving to you by a presentation through about 8 slides, which you'll be able to see, and you don't need to therefore take down anything. It's sufficient for you to see what we are discussing about. And now, what is it that this ODR can offer to us? What are all the things which are possible for us to approach and get things done? One is a one-on-one dispute, which is mostly consumer related. This has happened, like I said, in eBay. It is a market, e-market, and I have a problem. I purchased something which didn't work well for me. The person who has collected the money has to respond, or he has delivered a good to me, then my payment has not reached him for some reason. Whatever it is, that is the matter which is discussed. That is how it can be done in an ODR platform, which is done through emails, which can be through a telecom communication. There could be a video conference. Any of those things are possible. Another area where it can work is mediation. Online mediation will happen, like you all understand what mediation is. There will be a neutral, and it will be done through him with parties on either side, and all the communications going through the neutral. That will be the second thing. Arbitration, again, interestingly, I'm told by one of my friends who was a junior to me that international arbitrations in these tough times, they have not stopped. They seem to be going many places. That is because in many places, they don't think about trial by evidence through oral evidence. So where documents are exchanged, where you merely ship your documents through email, scan them and send them. You have the arbitrator sitting and looking at these documents. And if there are even memorials are presented about what they want to say with reference to the documents. And then the decision is taken and arbitral award is given. So it is in cases where oral evidence is minimal, where there is nothing to be done, and whatever be the value of the claim, it could be very high value claim, but even then the parties may have decided even in the beginning, which is possible even under our Arbitration and Conciliation Act, that you may decide on the procedure which you want to follow. So in which case where parties desire that a judgment can be given with the exchange of documents, then there is nothing else to be done, and arbitration will be concluded. Court annexed. This is what is probably the most crucial thing. We are now talking at times of a different situation where the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court yesterday, a few days back, has said that he will hold courts and he has drawn up already a roster of judges on the subjects which they'll be taking. Persons who are prepared to render assistance to the court through arguments on through video conferencing. There'll be the two judges, if it's a division bench or a single judge, will be sitting in this chamber connected to a particular line. A password will be given the same way as we are connecting now, and cases will be called one after another and arguments will be made. I'm sure many courts are thinking on those lines, and I was merely, because the Madras High Court happens to be near me and what I'm seeing, what the Chief Justice has said, to what extent it has been successful, I'm not too sure, but then they have already begun. And we are talking about times we don't know when we are going to reopen. So that is possible. Court annexed is something which will be possible, which can work effectively, is what some of the court's examples would reveal to us. Now, this is an important thing of what shows to us an online dispute resolution. Do we define it in some way? We can say it could be as it can take a very wide definition. Resolve a dispute with or without an intermediary. Like I said, where it happens, the parties are able to negotiate themselves without any intermediary. It can be, therefore, that will be online dispute resolution without an intermediary by tools of online communication systems. Like it can be smartphone, it can be a PC with internet connectivity, or in whatever way a communication is possible, that will be used, that will be online. And it will give itself compatible to all forums of dispute resolution. Like I said, arbitration, mediation, negotiation, all these are different forums of dispute resolution, and that are prepared to embrace the modern tools of communication. Like I said, the court annexed can also be an ODR. So it is therefore possible to apply to courts, arbitration, negotiation, and mediations. Now, look at something which is very, very curious now. That is what it is. Mediation through ODR is what we are now talking, because all of us are mediators. Though ODR need not necessarily apply only to mediation, it can apply to other systems. We are more concerned about mediation because we are mediators, and how will we be able to leverage the new communication systems in ODR for better practice is what we'll be seeing. ODR, therefore, you must understand, is a kind of if it is the tree, mediation is one branch, or it can give out several other branches like maybe arbitration, conciliation. And when both parties opt to connect through internet only, and securing personal presence is difficult due to distance, age, or disability, or simply because the parties believe that virtual communication itself is desirable, that's fine. And it is possible for us to work mediation through ODR. How will we be able to do? I'll soon say that as well. And existing, this is again very important, existing unresolved dispute where talks are already underway and parties desire resumption of talks through internet in a virtual world space. So we are looking at situations of where we may have arrived by now. We have probably started a mediation already, and the case we were to go back to our cubicle to run this mediation session. It is not happening because courts are closed. We won't be able to go. Now, we know that the case was, we have started it already. We know what the dispute is. We know what the parties wanted. We know how to carry it through. We know everything about it except that we are not able to sit and meet. And that is possible now? Yeah, it will be. How will we do that? We'll soon see that as well. Now, this is something unusual. This is something which I wanted you to keep in mind. Whenever people talk about ODR, they see ODR as a part of ADR. A larger umbrella term of what we understand is alternative dispute resolution is alternative to courts and therefore ADR. And ODR is normally seen as a process which is a subsect under ADR systems. But then we don't need to necessarily see it as an alternative to court systems. It can be encouraged in every situation where the court is prepared to adopt modern tools of creating virtual court environment for conducting trial, for evidence, arguments. In fact, I must tell you, for a party who is in Malaysia, who is unable to come, who apprehends arrest when he comes here, it's a partnership case in an arbitral exercise, and we are carrying the entire evidence through video conferencing. So if it is possible, it is possible in courts. Already in courts, it is our court which passed a division bench with Justice Gupta, Hemant Gupta, saying doctors need not be brought before courts at all. They can, in every situation, even in 302 or even in MACT, all these persons whose time is truly valuable, whose services can be rendered elsewhere, they ought not be made to come to court and then languish in the court corridors. And therefore, we should encourage video conferencing. The Supreme Court in one case said, one type of case has said, for all transfer applications, video conferencing will be possible, and we should make every district center, ADR center, to be used for conferencing for parties who are living in different districts, different states, different countries. So therefore, this has already gained acceptance in our court systems, and therefore ODR through court systems is already happening in some areas, though perhaps not as popular and as widely taken. And most suitable for our courts, in my view, would be traffic offenses in every summary proceeding requiring very little evidence. You don't need to go there at all. In fact, in some countries, you don't even have judges, typically judges drawn exclusively for court adjudication. These are persons who are public-minded persons prepared to give some time as a measure of service to people. Their services are taken to adjudicate on traffic offenses, where they are merely asking the person why he did it, and probably if there is some discretion, take a fine from $1,000 to $2,000 or $500 to $100, depending on the gravity. In India, in terms of rupees, it could be easily adopted.
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
By ODR, and with the assistance of other persons, adjudication through officers, police officers will court. So it could be difficult, but then over a period of time, it could still happen. And then accident claims tribunal can also work effectively through ODR. And in fact, I gave you some kind of some introduction to you at the time when we met on in February, when I was there in the last week, of the artificial intelligence and its integration. And I was taking for myself an important task of ensuring that all types of claim for compensation could be resolved through a minimal intervention, with all modules kept in place. You'll have to simply apply them. On a drop-down menu, you will find what is the case which is most appropriate to the given facts of the case. And then we'll come through a solution with both parties there, with the insurance company and the claimants, and with a mediator there to see whether everything is working out all right, and then ultimately present it in court. Tax disputes before courts and tribunals can work effectively through ODR, and consumer disputes, perhaps, if PayPal and eBay are any examples, they are surely worthwhile. You'll be surprised if I tell you that they're talking in terms of PayPal or eBay. The quantum of disputes which they decide and which they're able to conclude is in eBay has about 60 million cases per year. Believe me, that is the kind of number they're talking about, and they're talking about disposal within 12 days. And in PayPal, which they talk about 45 days, it's as big a number as this. So you have immense potential through ODR systems for disposal of these cases. And when can it be applied apart from the court? It can be to arbitration, mediation, med, ab, med. These are all the new formulations which they are talking about. Probably at some other time we'll discuss about when can be med, ab is useful. When can ab, med be useful? We'll be able to discuss about it. But I'm merely flagging to you what are all the areas where it will work. And now, how do we start the game? What are this? How do we begin this? Right now, we will notice how do we do it in a ODR? You are there connected to a computer. You have two parties assigned to you or persons who approached you for mediation. How do we go this? How do we go about this task? First one is establishing the contact. How do we do? We welcome the participants same way as we all do in our regular sessions. And in this, what you will not be encountering, we need to ensure connectivity are fine at both ends. Just now before we began, and there was somebody who was complaining, I'm not hearing all right, my audio content is not fine. There are issues for us, isn't it? So therefore we must ensure we can't simply no just listen to it. It is not like that. Everyone needs to know that they are able to hear you all right. If there are any problem, find out whether there is any particular time when the connectivity will be better. Ensure the timing for that. And always have a backup plan. If contacts suddenly go, how do we go? Then I can probably call you by phone. Can I give a WhatsApp call? So try to open up several other alternatives even at the starting. When you are beginning a ODR process, you'll ensure that contact is the most important thing. What are we trying to do in mediations? We try and see that we make conversations easier. There is always a problem of parties unable to effectively converse, and therefore we are there in the middle. So therefore, that will not be lost. The most important ingredient of mediation through a mediator who establishes contact for people, they will not be in any sense lost or disempowered through this. And then we must keep track of the conversations. So you can say now, we always say that when we set the rules of the game, we say now when one party speaks, the other one will not do. Do we not say that? We say that because we believe that is crucial that people know what they're saying. Now here, what you must do here, if two people talk, it'll get jammed. It is not as if one person can hear, another person can also hear over that. What is possible in a physical presence where two persons talk, and even when they cross talk, they can still understand what the other one is saying, but not when you are in a video or audio mode through internet. So therefore, it'll ensure you tell them that this is crucial, that there is no crosstalk there. If you have something, please note down and then come up ultimately. Or you can give them signs like raise your hand, then do that. Then if there is a mediator there, you'll be able to stop that person. If there is something which is very urgent, important for that person to say, yes, now you go ahead, now please stop. So you'll be able to moderate it effectively. Even some of the rules of the game may go fat because emotions are such that you will not be able to repress a person at a time when he wants to intervene. In all such situations, you'll play a vital role and see how it is done. You will therefore, the mediator will control the turns of dialogues. He will say, stop here, and will I do it? So you will set that even previously as to how this is to be done. And parties' comfort is the most important thing. I've seen in some place in US, in San Francisco, when I was there for a short period, shadowing mediations. It was so crucial for people to be put in utter comfort. You will find a mediator going close and then give to them coffee or tea or anything. If it is arriving there, the mediator gets up to distribute it. They do extraordinary things. I know in Punjab, that is a place where I've experienced at all times. Being hosts, you are the people. I would like to see myself as a part of your group. Yeah, surely. So we understand what is playing the best of host for in Punjab. Therefore, you'll do that. And also, you tell them even before, you must familiarize the people with the tools of video content. You will have, there is a chat box, there is a document to be uploaded if you want, files can be uploaded. You can share a screen like what I am doing now. I'm sharing my screen to you. You're seeing my face just only in a small place. The screen is shown. You need to therefore see how it is done. I was at the previous meeting when we were talking, we realized like say Verma would say, my son is there by my side, he is helping me do that. All of us would require all kind of assistance like that. I'm sure you'll be able to help to yourself to understand what all is shown there. Each one of the tools of what you find in a Zoom box, you should be able to comfortably work with. And that is what we will do. And the party's comfort is the most important thing in all such situations. Now, just this, I'll put you through a 10-minute video content of what was being done sometime about 3-4 days back. This was a Bombay company which was calling me and asking me what is the potential for ODR. Because I've given myself some time of half an hour, I thought I'll run you through this because I was talking about it recently and sharing some idea with some persons. So therefore, I'll put that for you. I'll stay quiet, and because I speak in another mode in an interview which I had sometime recently. Listen to it. See how much of it is relevant to us. Raise the volume for you.
His audio is not clear.
Raise the volume.
Sir, no voice. Karan sir? Sir? Karan sir? Sir?
Yeah, because it's not audible at all to everyone, in which case I stop it.
No. It's not audible, sir.
Stopping this because just now I received a call from Vikas saying that this is not audible. Therefore, we'll not go through this, and therefore I'll stop this. The idea was, I thought instead of repeating to you, I was answering the same issue with another person. How do we popularize it? It is possible only through court itself. I'll take you therefore to the last slide. With that, we'll be able to close and then take more questions perhaps. Now, just see this. What is the task at hand? And this is how I will address this. Go for, wherever it is possible, go for telecommunication and video communication on conference call, and to make inquiries about the case and see if you can schedule a meeting through online. Collect the phone numbers, email IDs, sound respectable, and be discreet about the timing and tenor. It's important because we can't simply make a phone call at whatever time. Remember, you're rendering a service, and therefore, what is possible as a lawyer in his fierce independence, the kind of how we sit, we are comfortable in our own way. He's after all coming there to take your professional help. So therefore, we give ourselves certain assertiveness. But then when we are on a telecommunication mode or video communication mode for ODR, and try to be as respectable as possible, find a time which is comfortable to the other person, and call only at that particular time. Don't miss that schedule. You can, sometimes it happens, you call some person to your house, you're caught somewhere else, you arrive late. All these things can't happen. After all, we are contacting a person through internet or phone. In which case, what you should simply do that if you are not able to make it, and then courteously inform the person that it is not possible to do it at that time. When the lockdown is over, now it's not going to be there for all times. When the lockdown is over, see if in regular cases you can open a window for online work, where parties have difficulties to have actual meetings due to other preoccupations. This can happen typically where we are already assigned work through the Legal Services Authority. We have scheduled it on some day. We would never have anticipated this method of doing work, of calling persons and asking, is it possible for us to work it out through telecommunication? Can we do it through video chat? All these things, we wouldn't have tried it at all before. Now it's possible. When you can, even it's not necessary that you should work ODR only at a time when the courts are not there. It should be possible for us to schedule meetings. Supposing you have been assigned a case, please speak to the mediation committee or to a judge who is there, who is the chairman of the mediation committee, to adopt new methods. Everyone will now, this is an occasion when they are introduced to it, everyone will now agree that it is possible to open other channels of communication also. Our seat of mediation ought not to change from our court. To do it in our house is not the right thing to do. But in exceptional situations where parties are not able to come, when you are having a meeting and when they are saying, I'm not able to, I can't come on a particular date, try and see if you can schedule a meeting through ODR. Meet with the Chief Justice and seek for immediate implementation of compulsory mediation in MACD cases. I'm sure you know of the judgment which was passed by the Supreme Court by Justice A.K. Sikri on 5/3/2019. I state the date because that was the last date of his service. On the day in Vishnumati was New India, he has said that all motor accident claims cases, he has even contemplated an authority, mediation and arbitration for motor accident authority. He said MA, Mama, a very favorite relation for all of us. So he wanted a committee to be, authority to be set up till such time as that authority is set. He also suggested that the mediation committee itself will do the job. And for mediation committee, all cases must go through this, is what Krishnamurthy says. Now, demand in every court where we are that no case will be taken by any judge who is an MACT roster without the cases coming through mediators. That way we'll be able to generate more work for ourselves. We'll be ensuring that the cases go through us, and it will not be done. It can happen at all levels. It can't be simply done by parties putting a witness in the court witness stand. We must make insurance companies pay. That they don't simply take up defenses which are irresponsible. We all know that there are things to be said on both sides. There are many fake claims, and therefore insurance company makes a fuss about making payments. Mediators will be able to recognize which is fake, which is not. And majority of cases are not fake cases, but the cases are languishing for any number of years. That shouldn't happen. With this judgment in place, we should be able to secure that ODR is the best platform. In all these cases, it doesn't require you, where there is a huge volume to cope with. There are 40,000 cases. If I would remember my own experience in Chandigarh, there used to be 40,000 cases. When the maximum number of cases was in writ jurisdiction, about 55,000 cases, you will have civil appeals probably around 42,000, and MACT numbers as big number. So therefore, it is essential that we have large assignments to us through a court, and we ensure that we employ ODR in a big way. And for that, we should be the brand ambassadors. And for ODR, mediators of Chandigarh shall be the brand ambassadors. And if we are able to do that, I'm sure there is a great scope for us to improve the situation. So this is all I would have to say, and I'm sure there is still some time for us, where if there are some questions asked or something, I'll be able to handle that. With that, I'll conclude this, and we'll come back to our regular video mode.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, Justice Kannan.
Yeah, tell me.
Can we rejoin after 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You disconnect and then give a call.
Because this meeting would be over within 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So I think there is a time limit of 45 minutes.
40 minutes is the limit, and we have reached 38 minutes.
Okay.
Therefore, we can rejoin after 5 minutes again.
After 5 minutes, we'll
Thank
be
you
rejoining.
very much. Have your tea in the meanwhile.
Yeah, we part to meet again.
After 10 minutes, because I have to record this also.
That you are going for tea?
No, I'm not going for tea.
Right.
I'm recording because recording will take time.
Tulsi, how are you? How are you there?
So good, sir. Thank you very much for the enlightening us on this ODR.
Even I have sent a file. Yesterday I have
break
prepared.
करते हैं थोड़ी देर break.
Okay.
So we
Bye
go
bye,
for break
Tulsi.
right now. Right now the time is
Over.
12:09.
till 9.